Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Martin, and I'm broadcasting live from Casio America on World Piano Day. And thank you, everyone, for joining me for today's presentation on the PXS7000. As always, Mr. Rich Formidoni. How you doing today, Rich?
I am doing great. Happy World Piano Day, everybody. I hope you are all having a wonderful and musical day.
It is a very special day, and we thought, the 88th day of the year, it couldn't be a better time to discuss one of our favorite instruments. Hasn't been out that too long, and everybody's been dying still to get their hands on this instrument that's been in such high demand, the PXS7000. It is an absolute beauty of an instrument. Both Rich and I have one here at our fingertips, and we're watching, the chat. We're going to take your questions, but there's also some things we've learned about the instrument since we first introduced it, and we thought we'd share some of those things with you today. So taking a look at the chat, looks like we've got a number of people, Mr. Face and EB and Digidude. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Again, if we'll do our best to watch those comments. So thanks for being here today. So I guess, Rich, where shall we begin?
Well, you mentioned shortcuts. I mean, we can't just tease and then not show them. So let me give you a couple of really cool tips for getting around the PXS 7000. When you look at the front panel, there are not a ton of buttons. It's a really easy to use interface, and that's one of the joys of it. One of the most important buttons is function. Function lets you do just about everything. For example, if you hold down function and press enter, now you can set the tempo of the metronome, and it says tap tempo right on the display. What you're tapping is a key. Just touch any key repeatedly to set the tempo. And when you're done, press the exit button. By the way, you'll notice a lot of the buttons went off. This is one of the great things about all the Privia PX-S instruments. The buttons, when you don't need them, they simply vanish. It makes the interface even easier to use. Now, over on the left side, I don't have them in view, but we've got a pitch bend wheel, we've got a control button, and we've got two EX buttons. And actually, you can see them right over here. So these are our left side controls, and if we want to assign them, all I have to do is press this function button, and I'm going to press one of the two EX buttons. And now on the display, I can choose what I want those buttons to do. I can turn the arpeggiator on and off, and I think Mike's going to have some cool stuff to show you with the arpeggiator in a second. I can turn on and off some functions within the Casio Music Space app, layer, split, some very useful stuff. The same goes for the control button. So if I hold function and press that, now I can choose what I want that to do. Modulation, portamento, rotary speaker control, especially useful for an organ sound, and I can change the ranges and part application for those buttons as well. Couple other really useful things. If I press function, hold function, and press the play stop button, that's my metronome. So there's no metronome button on the front panel because there doesn't need to be one. Just hold function and play stop, and you've got it. And another shortcut we have mentioned before, but it's a really cool one and worth repeating. If you're playing in a dark room and you don't want the lights of the instrument blinding you or distracting you, hold down the exit button for a couple of seconds and the front panel goes dark. The instrument still works exactly as you'd expect, and when you want the lights back up, just press the function button, and you're back to where you need to be. So there's a couple of quick tips to get you around and introduce you. Oh, wait, sorry, one more.
Oh, I was about to jump in. Go ahead.
Yeah, these 4 F buttons are hugely important. Now, you can see this dot on the display here, right above Privia Grand. If I touch down on the LED touch ring, it moves the dot down to where you see standard. And now, when I go left or right, I'm changing what those 4 F buttons do. So if I want to assign them to do something specific, all I have to do is hold function, press 1. I can choose which of the 4 buttons I want to edit, press enter, and choose a new function for that button. Then you can go ahead and save your own row of buttons, give it a name. So for example, cocktail hour gig or wedding band or whatever the case may be. So it's really easy to set up those buttons to use however you want. And again, the function button is the key. Sorry, Mike, you can jump in.
That was quite a stream of of consciousness. Rich, thanks so much for sharing all of those tips. That was a lot. So I'm going to back up just a little bit because I think there's some, if you haven't seen the PXS7000 or the 6000 for that matter in person yet, this interface is it's very slick, and it's one of the things that really is unique about the PXS 6000 and 7000 is this touch panel interface. So one of the things you might have seen Rich doing is touching up and down on the touch ring here on the PXS 7000. So you can, of course, you can spin the wheel here, the touch ring. And if you're listening carefully, you might hear a little audible click, which you can change the volume of or disable completely if you want for live use. But you can also just tap left and right. And the simplicity of this is so easy just to get through and get to your favorite tones. I'll also add, while you're here and you're selecting tones, if you press enter, you can just get to your various categories of tones very easily. So there's about 5 different ways to do everything on the PXS 7000, including selecting tones. And as Rich mentioned a moment ago, these F buttons to the left of the display, you can customize these to be whatever you want. And Casio's provided some examples here, things like as an example, the electric piano collection. So now we have 4 different tones on 4 different buttons. So if, as Rich mentioned, if you have a particular gig and you need quick access to specific things, the PXS 7000 can deliver. And if you need something such as transpose, well, you can change that assignment. You can make one of those function buttons, instead of a specific tone, you can change that to be transpose just that easily. And so now you could store this, put it in a user bank. You can name it, of course, and then you can get back to that quickly. So now I've got quick and easy access to transpose right there, as with a couple of my favorite tones. So lots of things you can customize on top of just these fantastic piano sounds. So Rich, maybe just for a refresher, maybe you could just tell us quickly about the 3 different grand pianos on the PXS 7000.
Absolutely. So one of the greatest aspects of the PXS 7000 is that it's the only instrument that we have outside of the Grand Hybrids and AP710 that give you the experience of owning 3 world-class legendary grand pianos. When you first power on the PXS 7000, you will see this Privia Grand, you will see this Privia Grand HG. The HG stands for Hamburg. Hamburg is a beautiful German 9-foot concert grand. It is world-renowned, and it's great for just about everything. Then as you move to the right using the LED touch ring, you get bright versions of it and a mellow version of it. And then if you go right again, now you see Privia Grand New York. So not just a different piano preset, it's a totally different piano personality. And again, we've got bright variations of this and mellow variations. And then if we go right one more time, now we're looking at the Berlin. These have beautiful long natural decay, beautiful sustain, and like every other instrument that has our multi-dimensional morphing, it's a very smooth transition between soft playing and stronger playing. And of course, you've got bright and mellow variations of those as well. So, above and beyond that, if you press the piano button again, now you're looking at customizations of these piano sounds that are designed to play hit songs. So, for example, here we go. We're avoiding the copyright police, as Mike said. Clock piano. So there are 50 of these. There are also other electric piano sounds that are designed for those applications. But really, the three pianos are the shining star among the sounds in the PXS7000. And again, it's the experience of owning three of these magical instruments, and the way they're presented here are just amazing.
Thanks, Rich. Yeah, they are truly amazing, and each of those grand pianos will take you to a different musical space. It's really amazing. Now, I wanted to show you something else I've learned since having the PXS 7000 about taking these core piano tones in a new and perhaps slightly different direction. So I have here in my rig, I have the Casio Music Space app. So it is connected to my Privia PX-S7000 here below. So this, here's my iPad, just so you can see what parts of the screen I'm touching. But up in the upper left-hand corner of the PXS7000 is the iPad app, is the tone selection and tone modify menu. And if you haven't seen the Casio Music Space app before, it works similarly on a variety of Casio instruments, and depending on which one you have connected, the options that you see available here are slightly different. So, one of the easiest things you can do here on the app is choose different pianos, and you can see as I select them here in the app, the name of the tone is changing on the screen. So we have, these are the three different grand piano tones that we have. And this is also a quick and easy place if you wanted to layer strings or split a tone. You can do all of this very fast and very easy. But what I wanted to talk about, since it's Piano Day, is some interesting things that you can do with the piano tone itself. So right next to, on the app, right next to the name of the tone, there's a little gear. And if you select that, that brings up some options to modify the tone. And what we're going to be playing with here, it primarily is the cutoff tone, or the cutoff frequency, I should say. So in this case, I'm going to put it back to the default. I'm starting with the Berlin mellow piano tone, which is a very nice, soft, beautiful tone. But we're going to take this and make it even more mellow. One of the things that you'll see these days in film and TV music are the use of felt pianos, where an additional layer of felt is put between the hammer and the strings. Well, the PXS 7000 can get you pretty close to that, but just by using the filter here. And this isn't just a simple low-pass filter that's happening. This is dialed in really just to give you a beautiful effect on these piano tones. So in this case, that mellow piano is now even more mellow. So if I take that slider the other direction, and now I'm going to take it back and make it even more mellow. So that's the first step that we're using to make what I call a cinematic piano here on the PXS 7000. The next thing we're going to do in the app is go to the acoustic simulator. Now, this is where all the nuts and bolts are for modifying the modeling aspects that are occurring in the Privia PX-S 7000. This is technology that is developed from our Grand Hybrid, our flagship instrument. And these tools are all available here. So there's many things that you'd expect, and some that are maybe new to you. Things like string resonance, that's sympathetic resonance. So I'm turning some of these values up a little bit. And with that, I'm just going to give you also a word of caution, because when you do make a change to a parameter such as the cutoff frequency here on this page, you're changing the overall balance of some of these effects compared to where they normally are. So, and this is a case where less is generally more. Less is giving you quite a bit. There's no reason, with the exception of the key action noise, which I just love in this scenario to make very nice and ambient. It's probably best to keep many of these things relatively low without having to turn them up to 10. So I'm going to turn the damper noise up a little bit more. And one more time. Let's turn it up even higher, because it is YouTube after all. So even on that setting, you're starting to hear all of the resonance, string resonance and damper resonance happening with this tone. And last but not least, we're going to take this yet a step further. We've got this gorgeous mellow piano tone. We've adjusted the filter. We've turned up some of these modeling effects. I'm going to turn up the open string resonance a bit as well. And next, we're going to go into the effects section. Now, the PX-S7000, there's a preset reverb for each of the tones. Well, you can override that. You can put in, you have a choice of all of these modeled locations. One of the largest ones is the British Stadium. We can't hear the surround effects over a stream, but we're going to select the British Stadium. But the next thing we're going to do is go to the mixer screen and then turn that reverb send up just to give us a little extra of that reverb. So now let's take a listen. So that's a whole new space and character that maybe you thought that, the PX-S7000 could not deliver, but believe me, it will take you there. And these are the types of modifications that you could make on any of the acoustic grands in the PX-S7000. I particularly like it experimenting with this with the Berlin. It's just a pristine, mellow piano tone to begin with, a little bit less aggressive than the Hamburg, and that really helps you get into this cinematic space. Now, once you've created something like this, you can use the registrations here on the PX-S7000, and I'll pull up a different view so you can see my front panel. You can use the registrations and store this. So you could store this into any of the locations here. So you could get back to those settings very, very quickly. So as you could hear, real easily here, I've got one setting that's, without any of that stuff, and then the one that I just stored. Has the reverb effect and all those nuance effects and more. So anyway, and well, we have Leon joining us today. Those chords are beautiful. Hey, Leon, I'm just doing my best to channel you, my friend. You're an inspiration to us. Thank you so much for sharing everything you've been doing with your Privia PX-S7000. It's just an absolute treat to have you on as part of our family here at Casio. So anyway, I get into ambient and cinematic music, and when I found that cutoff parameter and the way it tweaked those piano tones, I got lost. Even beyond what the three pianos will do. And obviously we have a soft pedal here integrated into the stand on the PX-S7000, but that just took me in a whole new direction, and I got beautifully lost playing one of those piano tones for hours.
Yeah, and what you created there is a piano where one note tells a whole story.
Right. Exactly.
You could score something with very few notes and have it just be so beautiful and dramatic. and it's great that that comes out of the PXS 7000. I also want to say hi to Christian Terzik, who is checking in. A lot of friends checking in. EB, the original master, we see you on all of our streams. Good to see all of you guys again. Thank you for joining us. Hey, Mike, I thought of something. What if I were to show some of those tweaks as you're doing them on the PXS 7000 itself if you're not using the app? I thought that might be kind of a useful thing. I see the camera's on me, so I
Yeah,
think
it
we're
is.
okay
There you
with
go.
that.
Go ahead.
Okay, so earlier I showed you the F buttons. Now I'm just going to zoom in on the screen here. These F buttons right here, this is showing you what these buttons are doing, and those are the buttons just to the left of the display. And as I mentioned, you can go left or right to change what they do. One of the really useful pages, specifically for pianos, because it is World Piano Day, is button set number 9, favorite piano. So from here, if I push button number 1, I get to acoustic simulator. So these are some of the parameters that Mike just showed you. String resonance. If I press enter, now I can choose the string resonance right from the display there. If I back out here and press F button 2, now I can get to the effects. And if I hold down, oops, sorry, next button. Sound mode is F button number 3. If I press that, I can choose if I want Hall Simulator and Reverb, the surround effect, or a combination of the two. But if I hold down F button 3, you can see it blink on the screen, and now I can change which type of Hall Simulator or Reverb I want to use. And you can adjust the surround type as well. And then also there is P posi, which is piano position. This is useful if you're moving the piano to a different location. If I press P posi, I can choose standard, wall if the PXS 7000 is up against a wall, center if it's in the center of a room, or if it's on top of a table. So this will optimize the speaker system for the way for the location of the piano itself. So the only parameter that Mike showed you, I believe, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, that you can't get to create those cinematic pianos from the front panel is the filter cutoff frequency. For that, you do need the Casio Music Space app. But a lot of those other parameters you can get to pretty easily without a lot of button pushing right on the top panel. So, Mike, are you there? Oh, I'm just looking at the chat here. Thank you for welcoming me to your wonderful Casio family. Leon,
Sorry, I am back. I was experimenting with something in the background and forgot what button I had pressed. So I was there, but I wasn't. No one could see me talking to you but me. We are live, folks.
I've got one more quick piano-related thing I can show you. Actually, the piano button on the right here. There's piano, e-piano, and others. If you press piano while you're looking at the Privia Grand HG here, it'll take you to the best hit pianos. And if you press it a third time, it'll take you to even more piano presets that make different use of the effects and are customizations of the 3 main pianos. So these are more than single press buttons. They do wonderful things if you push them more than once. So just wanted to show you that real quick.
Awesome, Rich. Thank you so much. So if you guys have questions, again, we are watching the chat. We don't plan on being here much longer, but we just wanted to share our excitement of this instrument and our excitement of World Piano Day. I also wanted to mention quickly that coming up in, is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks is the NAMM show in Anaheim, California. Rich and myself and a whole host of artists, musicians from around the world will be joining us at the Casio booth. Leon, who's here in the chat, will also be joining us for some of that. So do check out the Casio.com page. We'll have a whole NAMM event page there on our website. You can come there and see all the happenings that are going on at the Casio booth, and some amazing musicians. Quite a list of stars: Steve Weingart, Alicia Witt, Leon, many more, Christian Cullen, will be doing his thing
Nick
on the
Smith.
CTS. Yeah, Nick Smith, a whole crowd, and more. So please check out the live stream that will be occurring. It will be on the Casio Global YouTube page, not this YouTube page. But if you can't find that, just join us at Casio.com. You'll see a NAMM banner at the top of the page, and you'll be able to catch the live stream there, which is primarily going to be on Friday, I believe. But again, the full schedule will be published, and you can check that out there. So, all right, taking one more look at the chat. So let's see, Rich, what haven't we covered on this beautiful PXS 7000?
Well, how long you want to be here? Because there's a lot. There's so much. I mean, we've got to keep doing more of these because the electric pianos are a whole topic in and of themselves. There are 400 different tones in this instrument, and they were created with such exquisite care. The only other thing to mention, I think, that is piano specific, again, are the keys. The keys are such a huge aspect of this instrument, and they're a hugely important connection between you and the sound. So these keys are spruce. They have spruce construction. Let me get back to the Privia grid. When you play them, you immediately notice a difference between these and other piano keys that you may have played. Not only do you see the wood physically on the side of the keys, but the keys feel a bit different. They feel denser, they feel more rigid, they're much quieter. They have a different type of balance than other Privias that you may have played. They really do make a big difference in creating that piano authenticity. So connecting them, what they do is connect you to the three pianos we've spoken about in what I consider to be a very, very meaningful way. So just wanted to mention that as part of the piano experience.
Yeah, the action and just the entire package of the PXS 7000. I mean, you have this beautiful design that is, oops, my screen is showing multiple things. Let's just try that instead. In your choice of the three different colors, the black, the white, or the beautiful harmonious mustard, it is an incredible experience. And not only that key bed, but even the stand, the pedal system, all contribute to the way this instrument feels. The stand doesn't budge or move or shake or vibrate when you play it. It is part of an amazing experience. So that keyboard action that Rich was talking about, this amazing hybrid spruce keyboard action, is available in other models, but the stand is a contributing factor. So if you've played a PXS 5000 as an example, it will give you a very, very similar experience. But unless it's on our furniture stand, the CS80 stand, in the case of the PXS 5000, that doesn't make a big difference in the terms of the feel of the instrument. So, but the stand and the integrated stand on the PXS 7000, which is an optional stand on the PXS 6000, just is another contributor to the fine, amazing feel of this instrument. So, and someone in the comments, that is a good-looking piece. We couldn't agree more. It is absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't agree. It is truly amazing. And there's also, oops, I disappeared from the chat. I'm just having so much fun pressing all of the buttons today. What I was going to show was sort of this back panel view. There we go. This back panel view of the PXS 7000. You've got this elegant music rest. Again, a beautiful place to put your music, your tablet. Also on the back there is a place to plug in the wireless Bluetooth adapter, which I was using to control the instrument wirelessly with that Bluetooth adapter. So again, PXS 7000, if you haven't had a chance to play one, availability is getting a little bit better, so hopefully you can find one at your local retailer. And I'm going to do my best to put myself back up on this screen, Rich. I don't know what I did. That's you by yourself.
I can't play off just a gray box next to me. That's not enough.
All right, I'm gonna give myself
But
1 second here to put my head back on the screen, and if I can't get it there, oh, I did it. Whew. I gotta press
well
the
done.
lock button so I don't do that again.
Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, I hope everybody's having a musical day. Please get out there and play some music. Hopefully on a Casio instrument. Get your hands on one of those if you don't already own one. If you do own one, thank you so much for your support. If you're looking for more information on the Privia PX-S7000 or any of the Casio instruments, please check out our website at casio.com. There's all kinds of information, specs, and details. But also, please do your best to like and subscribe to this video. It has been way too long since we've done a live stream, so there's been a lot going on. And if you haven't noticed, I'm in a new place. Rich is in a new place as well, so things have changed on a personal level as well. So we're anyway, we hope to be back here more often than we've been lately, and we appreciate your feedback. So leave us your comments below, and we hope to see you here soon on a new broadcast. But in the meantime, we look forward to seeing you coming live from the NAMM show. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll see all the postings and all the goings on there. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining us, Rich. You have a great one.
thank you very much, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.